Hello. Hopefully you can hear me. If you can't hear me, let me know. That's me telling you to tell me. Hopefully you can though. I expect you can. We shall see. You'll have to let me know. We can hear you. Excellent. Always good. Always my fear. Even though every single time my microphone works exactly the same way. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. How are you all doing? Good morning, Anna, Marlene, Emmy. Lovely to see you all here. It feels like it's been ages. I suppose it has been. It's been quite a while since I've done reading sprints. I don't actually know when it last was. Apologies for the wiggly desk, as always. Just all the apologies, you know. It's always nice to start a stream apologising for stuff that really you can't do anything about. But yeah, it has been a while. I've been on hiatus. I'm loving it. It's really, really lovely. I have, 9 days left? A week and a bit? 10 days left. Ooh, thank you, August. And we've got bank holidays. I've got a trip to London coming up. I've got a hen do. It's very nice. I'm enjoying having more stuff, but I do miss the immediate connection, which is why I made at least one Friday Reads video and stuff. Yeah, I've been doing a lot of work, to be fair. It's not been entirely all fun and games. I've done a lot of reading of some very weird stuff. I feel like when I don't have a list or anything, my brain just kind of does whatever it feels like reading in the moment, which is often like the first 2 chapters of a lot of things. So we're going to feed that impulse today, and I have pulled off, as ever, a list that you won't be able to read, of things that I want to get to, and I think I'm just going to do like each sprint on each thing, and then see how we go, with the exception of the first book I want to get to, which is A Prayer for the Crown Shy, because I picked this up from Waterstones, where I pre-ordered it yesterday because they had all of that warehouse issues stuff, so it only just came in, and yeah, I want to finish this first. I think I probably can finish this in half an hour. It's 150 pages, yeah, that's very doable, but if not, then I'll keep going with that one. Ooh, fancy screen things. I know, yeah, I switched over to OBS from StreamYard, I think the last time we did reading sprints. I think just because StreamYard annoyed me, because of the limits it puts on you if you don't give them money. And I didn't want to give them money, so I just learned how to use OBS because I'm spiteful. And we can do things like timers and stuff. The thing I want to do next, before I'm everywhere today, I do want to learn how to set my phone up as a webcam, so when the dog comes in, you can have like a dog camera, but that's not a job for today. That's a job for future me. So yeah, Prayer for the Crown Shy is up first. And then I want to, come here, stack of books. I have a few arcs. I've been looking at my TBR this morning, and I have a few arcs that have been sat on there for far too long, most of the time because they weren't sent to me when I requested them. And if something comes to me unsolicited, my rule is if I'm really interested in it, I'll get to it, but I have no obligation to get to it because you sent it to me without asking, so that's fine. And it's very nice to be thought of, and it's very lovely to have things sent to you, but sometimes I haven't requested it because I don't want to read it. So A Radical Act of Free Magic, which is the sequel to A Declaration on the Rights of Magicians by H.G. Perry, has been on my TBR for, when did this come out? February of this year? Earlier? Last year, maybe? Let's see. Copyright 2021, so haven't got to it yet. I'm going to give this 50, 100 pages or so and see how I feel. I liked the writing of the first one, but the topic itself I was a little bit iffy on, but I've been reading some other alternate history stuff recently, so maybe that will work for me. And then this one actually wasn't sent. This was picked up on like an ARC table somewhere, I think. This is called Assassin's Orbit. It's by John Apple. Similarly, I don't know if I'm going to like it, so I'm going to give it 100 pages. Sci-fi written by men, not always my thing. Not always. We'll see. Dunno. So yeah, those are my, like, I'll read a bit of them and see how we go. And then, alright, Assassin's Orbit. Restless Truth by Freya Marsk. I'm really excited to read this. This is the sequel to A Marvelous Light, which I could reread, but I feel like this is going to be companion novel-y enough that it won't matter. That's the hope, anyway. And I should just like pick up this list so I don't have to keep turning around because I know that's everything. Oh, and then I have some arcs. I have Notorious Sorcerer, I have Genesis of Misery, and One Dark Window. So yeah, I've picked out 7 things that I'm going to read over a chunk. So we could be here for quite a while. I haven't really decided. We'll see. I'll probably go until the point where the dog needs a walk. That's generally the vibe. Ugh. What's everyone else reading? Anna's reading Nettle and Bone. Excellent. I feel like every time I stream there's somebody reading Nettle and Bone, and it brings me great joy. I enjoy that many people are reading it. On to page 129 of Dark Rise by C.S. Packet, and we'll continue that. Nice, nice. I will say I'm also in the middle of several other things. I am, or maybe only one at the moment. If you can hear the dog crying in the background, I apologise. I'm on book 6 of Temeraire. I'm on the Tongues, it's just called Tongues of Serpents, which is a horrible book title, but makes sense. And I'm very much enjoying that, but that's my audiobook, so I'm not going to audiobook on stream. That feels a little bit, not rude, just not the vibes, not the vibes. But yeah, let me just double check that everything has gone where it needs to go. It has. Excellent. Doing a little weekend project to reduce my number of current reads. Oh, see, I had to do that. When was it? Last weekend? The weekend before? I had like 8 things on the go. And I was like, we need to finish some of these. Down from 9 to 7, that's amazing. Short Dutch book next. Nice. Trying to get through Book of 9. Is it any good? I keep seeing it, but I didn't love her previous stuff, so I haven't picked it up. But I keep seeing it in bookshops, and I'm like, oh, you are pretty, though. You are very nice to look at. But yes. If none of this clicks for me, I will just reserve the right to switch over and read something completely different. Don't know if I want to say what I'm reading. Oh my. Shout me out from the library because I keep seeing it on Instagram. It sounds. I have read the first one. I think. Are these the. I can't remember who they're by, but it has like a big eye on the cover, I think. I read the first one on a whim. I can't remember when, nor can I remember why. I suspect similarly because I'd seen it all over the place, everywhere. And I read it, and yeah, it was. I don't want to say like nostalgic YA in like a negative sense, because sometimes you want that. For me, it was a reminder of the kind of thing that I read without criticism when I was a teenager. That was what I was about at the time, and it's sometimes nice to revisit that and just sort of be a bit like, well, you know, I liked this then. That was where I was, and here I am now, and where you've gone on, you know. That was a lot of waffle, not saying very much. I apologise. What else? I talked about Temeraire. I'm very much enjoying that. I am also in the middle of. I've technically started the next Dandelion Dynasty book, which is called, because I'm a sensible human who can look up things, The Veiled Throne. I have read 4%, but it's 1,260 pages, so that might not be for today. That might be a future thing, perhaps. Oh, and I'm 17% of the way into The Joy of Being Selfish by Michelle Ullman, which is a book all about boundaries, because I'm trying to throw a little non-fiction in this month, and I'm enjoying that. Just finished The Stardust Thief. Only one gripe that the next book is not out until September. Ooh, shush. Support a sister. Do not require support right now. Yes. What did you think of it? I read it and I was like, this was a solid book. For me, it didn't do anything where I was like, this was the most amazing thing I've ever read. But I think perhaps that is just where I'm at with reading at the moment. And I'm really interested to read the sequel because I feel like it'll be one of those things that's like better as a whole, where it knows where it's going. I don't know, perhaps. I do need to film a video for that though, because I was sent a review copy of it, and I haven't been the best with it recently, but I'm trying, where I'm sent review copies, physical ones, I'll make a dedicated review video, because that is somewhat more expensive for publishers to produce, rather than just writing reviews. But I'm not the best at it because it's so hard to fit them in the schedule, you know? And I suppose in the fullness of time, everything that stays on my shelf will get a review because I've overbooked. So it'll happen. It just might not be when they would like it to happen, which is near the pub date. We have a dog visitor coming. Hello. You gonna come scream? Nope, she's just gonna settle. How excellent. Yeah. Oh, a little scream from Luna. Hi. Well, I don't know why you're being upset with me when you've ignored me all morning. Yeah. Grumpus. My wife's been away for most of this weekend in various dribs and drabs, and Luna's really feeling it. She's like, people are out, and I don't like that. That's unacceptable to me. And, you know, that's what you take on when you adopt a dog, and she's a bit anxious. Perhaps she just gets it from me. I don't know. Oh, I've also been sewing. That's the other thing I have to update you on. I don't have them up here with me because they're drying. But my friend needed some little LARP shirts for a baby. or her baby, I should say, and I made them, and they're very cute. And I think there's a picture on Discord if you're on the Discord. But they were very pleasing to make. Although people who make like child clothes all the time, they're so fiddly. They're so where if I'm sewing a sleeve, I'm like, it's a big circle. On a child's sleeve, you're just like carefully tugging it through, like, oh, nightmarish. But I'm very pleased with how they came out in the end. But it did mean I was spending all of yesterday like hunched over my sewing machine, like trying to get them done, because I don't have very much time, because as I said, the end of August is pretty busy, and to be fair, the start of September is as well. I do want to do one, Marlene. I will get one. Find a way to hook up my phone to OBS and we'll have a little dog. Although to be fair, at the moment she's just sort of eating her own feet, so maybe not for those moments, perhaps. Potentially no. Stop it. You need those to walk on. Silly hound. But yeah, if you're new, I don't think anyone is, but in case you are new here, shh, please shush. We have to do the thing where you ignore her, because else she gets what she wants, so please excuse the little squeaking happening down here. If you're new here, if you don't know what we're doing, if you're fancying, I don't know, something, we are going to read for half an hour, starting about 15:15, and then we'll chat for about 15 minutes, and then we'll read for half an hour, and then we'll chat for about 15 minutes, and that's how the day will go by. So, yeah, prepare yourself for that. It's hard to explain reading sprints in a way that doesn't make them sound super boring, but they are very helpful to me as someone who wants to get through my TBR. Do you want to know where my TBR's at? Let's have a look. Because I have been powering through some things that were on my TBR. Excuse this. It's just, yeah, there we go. I think I am at around 33 books, which is not too shabby. Not too shabby at all. Especially because we were talking about how many books are on our TBR yesterday, and I am by far the smallest, which is a tiny victory for me. I think it's just because I don't buy books unless like 4 people tell me they're good. I'm like, I'm not spending my money on that. I'm just cheap. That's what it is. But yeah, I'm gonna kick it off with Prayer for the Crown Shy, which I will be talking about when we come back. But I'll try to keep it spoiler free for Psalm for the Wild Built, in case you haven't read that yet. I'm gonna slide this dust jacket off though, because I feel like dust jackets on novellas, there's not enough meat to the book to hold them in place. But yeah, it's a very pleasing shade of yellow. How nice. As much as Tor hardbacks are ridiculously expensive, they are nice to hold. They are pleasing to my hands. But yeah, let me check that this is all working. Yes, it is. Oh, genius. Let's see. There it is, scripts. That's how I'm going to do the countdown. I've only had to do the timer once and I keep forgetting how to do it. So this is me trying to remind myself. There it is. And Marlene says, I want to read Psalm and a million other books. You should read Psalm. It's so good. It's so good. Maybe I'll recommend it for a Space Sirens book one time. I think that would be fun. Although, have we done it? Did we do it for Space Sirens? I feel like that's the kind of thing I should remember. As soon as the month has gone by, I just cannot remember anything that happened. Cool, right. Well, by the time I'm done setting up the timer, it will be 15:15. So let us kick off with our first reading sprint of the, well, our first reading sprint of the month, but our first reading sprint of these sprints. I need to find that window again. There it is. Let's go. Have a wonderful read, everyone. And I'll see you in half an hour. And we are coming back. There we go. Sorry, that was slightly later than planned because I was fiddling about with my series tracker. Because I finished it. Finished Prayer for the Crown Shy. It's really good. If you like the first one, you'll really like the second one. I just enjoy this vision of a world. I think that it is very hopeful, which I appreciate is the intention. Hi, Asha! Asha's here. How exciting. Welcome, welcome. How did that go for everyone? What have we been reading? What have we been doing? Yes, I know I'm live on my channel right now. Thank you. Yeah. I thought it was very good. I'm processing it. I finished like 3 seconds ago. It's very lovely world, very obvious in what it's doing in a lot of ways. Like, it's not trying to be like, I'm about a future world, but secretly I'm going to make you have feelings about your own world and your own life. It's intentionally being like, hey, let's explore this through this speculative lens, which I very much enjoy. And I feel like I say, let's explore this through this speculative lens all the time, but I can't think of a better way of phrasing it. So there we go. 26 pages. Well done, well done, well done. Were they good pages? Were they entertaining? Were they good? All of the above. All of these questions. I am next picking up what will probably be a less exciting read, but this is essentially just a proving to myself that I don't need to DNF, or that I do. Let me get my words straight. Proving to myself that I do want to DNF this, or that I want to finish it, in which case I'll probably finish it another day. So we're just going to try and do 50 pages or so, whatever chapter finishes closest to 50 pages. Don't mind me just flicking through. Yeah, we're going to go about 60 or 70 pages through, which will work nicely for me. Do I have a bookmark in my desk? I do. Fabulous. That's the plan next. Let's see. Marlene, 26 pages of my Dutch book. It's like memoirs of the author with little stories from his childhood in a small village. Oh, that sounds nice. Shatter me very melodramatic. 40 pages in. Yeah, it's an intense start if I remember correctly. Give away and got through 15 pages. Ooh, Jasmine Throne reread. Are you enjoying it? I had such a good time on a reread. I feel like because of the marketing for Jasmine Throne, it really felt like it was going to be just the two perspectives, flipping one then the other. And then when there were other perspectives, I got very confused. So on a reread, I kind of went, well, I know this. And I know this going in. I just found it much stronger. And the second one is really good. Recommend picking up the second one as soon as you can. And Asher DNF'd Princess of Souls, which, given Asher has been sending me clips of it, I think a very sensible thing to do. Getting order confirmation. I'm ordering supplies for a upcoming project, and I'm trying my best not to order anything from Amazon. I think I've already failed on one count, but in my defense, I couldn't find them anywhere else. But it means a lot of delivery confirmation emails and a lot of postage charges. Like, honestly, the main reason I order through Amazon when I'm doing projects, but I'm trying to be good about it and like not give Jeffrey Bezos all my money. We support DNFs, we do, and hopefully, I'm actually kind of hoping that this will be a DNF because it would make my life easier, and maybe that's a terrible attitude to go in with, but I feel like my other option was just to never start it, and this feels more fair to the book. Likewise with Assassin's Orbit, which I'll come to afterwards. Giving it 50 pages or so, and then I don't need to be bogged down with it anymore, right? Loving it. Agreed, the amount of characters is easier to navigate the second time around. Yes. Next week, yes. This series has been hanging over you for way too long. It has been. I was trying to remember when I got sent this, and I genuinely cannot remember. And I should just have gone, this was sent unsolicited, I'm not going to. Because at this point, it's not going to make a difference to book sales if I end up loving it. But I can't do that for some reason. My brain won't let me. I have to try it. And we'll see. I'm going to free myself. I will be free by the end of today. We'll know. It could be amazing, you know. And I think the other thing that the other reason this might work is because I'm reading other alternate history Napoleonic War stuff at the moment. And maybe it'll scratch that same itch. I don't know. But it will be fine. And I'm not going to finish it today. I'm just dipping my toe in eventually, finally. Because I want to get through some of my arcs at the moment. But yeah, the TBR is now down to 32. Let's be excited together because Prayer of the Crown Shy was done. And to be fair, I only added it yesterday, but sometimes there is immense satisfaction in reading a book the moment it dips in. Always nice. Software making me realise that William Wilberforce and William Wallace were different people. Yes, very different people. Although I do like the idea of William Wilberforce being in Parliament covered in woad. That, you know, they had different and yet similar goals in life, I feel. For those who don't know, the reason that I didn't get on with the first book in this series is because I know the period of history way too well, because I got weirdly obsessed with William Wilberforce at one point. You know, when you just hyperfixate on a random guy? That happened but for William Wilberforce. And I found it very odd to have the book simultaneously being like, here's William Wilberforce and the abolition of the slave trade, and also the Prime Minister is a vampire. Which should be entertaining and good, but instead just felt a little bit icky. Like, just a little bit like, but the abolition of the slave trade was an actual thing that happened, and now we're bringing magicians into it. It was not problematic in the full sense, but a little bit too close to reality for me to feel like it was handled particularly well. So I'm seeing if the second book continues in that vein or not. I like you say, we all have a guy. We all have a guy. Mine was William Wilberforce. Like, for others, it may be Tom Cruise, you know. I will say, watching the Netflix Sandman series at the moment, where I watched the first, 4 or 5 episodes, and now I've said Katie can watch it with me, so we're watching it again. And I've forgotten the actor's name, but the main actor, the guy who plays Sandman, I was watching and I was like, why are you so familiar to me? And then I remembered that one of the many guys I was obsessed with as a teenager / older, younger adult was this actor, whose name I should look up, but I'm not going to. Because he was in The Boat That Rocked, which was a film that I watched so many times. So many times. Why? I don't know. I like the music and the visuals, you know. I watched The Boat That Rocked all the time, which I think in the US was released as pirate radio, if you're in another country. And How to Train Your Dragon. Just flip the two whenever I wanted to. I can't watch them again. I know them too well. I could probably recite most of it. Yeah, that's just yeah. We all have a guy. Tom Sturridge, thank you so much. This is why we're here. I don't need to Google anything. I can just say stuff into the void. People will reply with the answers. But yeah, I also think if you look at who my partner was at the time, that's very, very indicative. I don't know if I have a historical guy. I don't know why I'm trying to think who yours would have been. I don't know. But I was such a history nerd as well. Like, I just wanted this. You're the void. It's like a nice void. It's a lovely void. A very kind void. I don't mean it in a negative sense. I just sometimes get the sense that I'm talking to myself, and then occasionally myself speaks back, which is nice. Vespasian. Ooh. Trajan. That bust of Trajan in the Ashmolean. You're like, yes, very, very nice man. There was a lot of rating the Roman emperors based on hotness when I did art under the Roman Empire as a paper at university. It's a lot of how I remember which ones they were, because you just remember which one was the most attractive, frankly. And then you get sad because this is like an idealized version of this man. He probably didn't look like this. Antinous, but we all know. Have you, at some point, it isn't for this stream, but at some point we will talk about the Antinous fan website. I can't remember if you sent it to me or if it was Bex, but, it might have been somebody else. It might have been one of the classicists at college, but, Antinous, if you're not, apologies if you're not a ancient history buff, we're just going off now. But Antinous was just meant to look hot and everything. That was his whole deal. Oh, dearie me. All of that information is just secreted somewhere in the back of my brain to emerge whenever I'm in a museum. Like, my mum refuses to go to Italy with me because she just knows I'm going to be an absolute nightmare. Hi, Kenny. Nice to see you. You know, it's not derailing. It's not like I had a topic to talk about. We're just on ancient history. Maybe we're inspiring other people. That's what it is. Everyone's going to go off and look up Antinous and be like, oh, dang, let's learn more about that. I'm going to send you the website if I can find it again, I'll send it to you. But yeah, we are doing reading sprints, in case anyone's new. We're actually doing reading sprints. Not just talking about attractive Roman emperors and their paramours. Oh dear, oh dear. But yeah, what's everyone else reading, if anyone hasn't told me already? What are you picking up now that you are done with? I've already forgotten what it was called. Did you cut? I did, yes. It's not doing what it wants to do today because I slept on it funny, but I hacked a bunch off. But to be fair, which I kept saying to people at work, my hair would be this length all the time if I just had the energy and like social skills to book haircuts more often. As it is, I just panic and don't book one, and then an opening will come up on like the day after I'm trying to book, and I'm like, yes, impulsive decision. So this is what I call like my normal hair length. It just isn't what actually is, because I book a haircut, get it cut off to this length, and then don't book a haircut for a year. So it feels new, but it isn't. Crack on with Wolfsong for a bit. Yes. How far through are you? Are you? But I want to know your opinions on a thing that happens and how it sits with you as someone who maybe has read more paranormal stuff than I have potentially. So interesting. Thought I'd lost my questioning reality. I think I question that because for me, a haircut is very much just a thing that happens. Haven't had a haircut since COVID. Oh, it must be getting lovely and long. Lovely and long. I enjoyed, because I cut my hair February of 2020. So I got to experience like my hair at all sorts of different lengths, and now I look back through to be honest, most of the time I have footage of myself as videos. So I like skim through a load of thumbnails and be like, that length, that was the length I liked the most, and just get that done. 68 pages into Wolfsong, nice. Twilight meets The Outsiders. I don't think I've read The Outsiders, but the Twilight reference is true. I think it was 2016 though, so it was a fair bit afterwards. Finishing off Tender as the Flesh, then cracking on with Jade War. Oh, Jade War is a good book though. I think that what's the word? Greenbone Saga just is kind of quite a slow series. As much as they are fun to like read very fast, because it's so slice of life, they work as a slow series. I loved your hair long, but this feels more you. I like it long, I just don't do anything with it, so it just gets like a snarly, kind of like limp mess. Whereas at least with this, it can look vaguely intentional. Twilight fanfic, it really felt like it when I was reading it. I didn't read it that way, partly because Twilight is so not gay, and Wolfsong is, but I think like anything that leans kind of like paranormal romancy, you can put a Twilight lean on it potentially. But I've not read Twilight in many years, so maybe that's me putting that on. Jibber is one of my current reads. Love book 1, need to crack on with book 2 and book 3. Everyone just needs to get to book 3. I feel like there's an element of me that held back on reading them because I didn't want my emotions to be damaged, but I will say that it was a very satisfying conclusion. Super hot mysterious blonde family is definitely bad. True. But I think partly also because it's not all school focused, potentially, is the distinction for me. Like, I have a very vivid memory of Twilight book 1 being like a lot of other characters and school, whereas this is more outside of that, potentially. The Grace is, but again, the Grace is very school focused, and I don't, that while there is school in Wolfsong, it's not the focus of the book. It's more about like a workplace and a home, I guess. And also, Twilight left a lot of time out of the family scenes. I feel like they threw more of them in the films. But again, I haven't read them in a very long time, so I genuinely can't remember. And we probably ought to sprint again. I've already told you what I'm reading. You've already told me what you guys are up to. House of Hollow was a fun word read. Oh, I've read that, I think. I'm checking. Yes, I have. It was good. I had to give Justine her copy back, but I have read it and it was enjoyable. As much as I enjoy any YA horror stuff, it's not necessarily my genre, but that was a good one. Okie dokie, alrighty, and here we go. We're going to read for half an hour. I'm going to eat some fizzy cola straws because they're here on my desk and I have no self-control, and we'll see where we are. Hopefully you will witness me in real time DNFing this. We'll see. I'm going to switch back to this one and reset. And we're ready to go. I shall see you in half an hour or so. back. I keep doing that where I get distracted by spreadsheets. Ooh, it's bright. It's very bright. I really need to get like a roller blind for this office because this is not working very well. Please let me put my blind down. You're embarrassing me now. No, we're not having a blind today. We're just going to be slightly blinded. We're back. How did that go for everyone? I will let you know how it went for me. I'm going to DNF both of these. I think we knew this was coming. I somewhat went in with that expectation. Radical Act of Free Magic, which you really can't see. I'm so sorry. This is completely blown out by the sun. We'll try one more time. One more time to get this blind to go down. It's because it doesn't want to go while it's like a specific way. But I can't work out which way it needs to be. Ugh, never mind. Yeah, it's not badly written, okay? It's not badly written at all. But I got to the point where Napoleon was there and he enlisted a kraken to help with the war. And I was like, I'm okay. I don't need this. That's silly. And not, maybe silly in a fun way. Oh, the dog is up. Maybe silly in a fun way for some, but when you're already like not here for the book, like I can't deal with it. No, I'm not doing it. I refuse. And it's also really tiny font. Hello, dog. So yeah, that's not happening. And then this I started, and I think it's the kind of thing I probably would enjoy. Maybe if I read it like not super critically, but I don't know. It's a sci-fi murder mystery, and I just think there are other sci-fi books I want to read that I don't necessarily care about this one in the grand scheme of things. So I'm gonna DNF that one as well because I have no obligation to read it. And if in the future somehow I'm like, finally, I really want to read Assassin's Orbit by John Apple, I can. It's not vanishing from the earth just because I'm not reading it now. Is kind of my attitude. So yeah, I'm just decided to DNF that series, which is called The Shadow Histories, and Assassin's Orbit. Huzzah. But yeah, Napoleon and the Kraken, just I can't with it. No. Right. I'm just like totally blind. I really need to sort this. I'll do it in the next sprint. I'll sort this blind out. 35 pages of Dutch book, pretty much on the halfway point now. Nice. Carry on with an audiobook I started yesterday, even though it might distract me from a crochet pattern I'm trying to follow. Ah, yes. I feel like I need like mindless activities or activities that don't require me to concentrate too much when I'm on an audiobook. But what are you listening to? 20 pages of Dark Rise. We don't have any thoughts about this book. Nothing has impressed me. No annoyances either. Rare for your white fantasy. Yeah, I know what you mean. Like, there are some books that are just sort of fine. And sometimes, I feel like it depends what mood I'm in. Sometimes a fine book is like, well, that was fine. How nice. And other times like, well, that was fine. And I could have read something else with my time, and it entirely depends on my mood. 35 pages of The Jasmine Throne. Intense plot things are being intense. Ooh. There are some intense plot moments in The Jasmine Throne. For sure. Now, the 30 pages of Shatter Me, actually really enjoying it. It's the exact type of thing you want to read. Yes, I do know. When I want that, I go back and I reread, like, I did a video years ago now that I called something like Excavating My Kindle, because I have so much YA from, like, around about that time when there was all of the YA that was all the same. Let me see. I have to filter all of my Kindle stuff to books because I've got so many, like, review copies on here. Oh, please show me the things I want you to show me. I've got some Anthony Horowitz in here, Princess Diaries, James Patterson. Quite a bit of James Patterson in there. I say James Patterson, right? Percy Jackson's in here, Hunger Games, a lot of Laini Taylor. Like, I was just reading. It's sort of split between YA stuff that I was able to read finally because I had a bit of time, and then source books for my degree, which is very strange. Yeah, I don't know. I'm browsing my Kindle now because I'm getting tempted. I think I need some trashy in a positive sense YA soon. Like, that's what I'm going to require, possibly after all of this is done. Because, yeah, next up, I'm picking up my review copy of a book that you won't be able to see because it's being totally blown out by the sunshine, but it's A Restless Truth by Freya Marske. And it's really tiny font, but I'm going to power through. I'm going to read half an hour worth, and then we'll see where we are. We'll see where we are. Do I have anything else to say other than Napoleon having a kraken is weird? I think it's because I'm reading Temueret, and I appreciate I've said that like 4 times now, but it's the thing of like, if I want alternative history Napoleonic War, I want the one that has dragons in it, not the one where William Pitt is agonising over his vampire identity. Like, I'm okay. Nightmare of Tiny Font, that's the other thing. That was the difference between... I shouldn't show them to you because you're not going to be able to see it at all, but Radical Act of Free Magic is TNC, the tiniest font, and I am very, very not good at seeing. Is that the sequel to A Marvelous Light? Yes, it is. It is. I'm really, really excited. A delightful romp, perfect for fans of The Binding and The Invisible Library. I do not like The Binding, but apparently it'll be perfect for me because I like The Invisible Library. Yeah, murder mystery stuff. I'm like just eyes and a nose and a mouth right now. We will sort this. We will. I'm not complaining about the sunshine. It's beautiful. I love having some vitamin D in my life, but dearie me. Midsummer Murders Book 1, The Killing at Badger's Drift. I think I've gone wrong in my pattern, so I should probably stop reading it. Yeah. Is it a complex crochet pattern? What are we making? What are we doing? I never got beyond crocheting like just round things. I could never cope with anything where it started to shift too much. It was too much for me. Still haven't read Legendborn because of fun. It's teeny! Legendborn is so small. To the point where at a certain point in time I'm just going to have to be like, if it's too small a font, I'm just going to have to buy the ebook. And if I want to own the book, I'll have to own both. Yeah. I'm working on a project turning a little bit of my office into a reading nook, which will be a video in October, I think. And for it, I need to buy a reading lamp and like mount it to the wall and do proper actual DIY. Because yeah, otherwise it's just not happening. Gilded One's tiny font. No, yeah, see, take note, publishers. Just give us more pages and larger font. Appropriately ghost-like. It's on brand. It's not me having bad lighting. It's me being on brand. That's what it is. Legendborn was particularly small though. Legendborn I noticed. I was like, this shouldn't... No, this is too much. Yes. But it's one of the reasons I've been reading a lot of ebooks lately, just because I can mash the font up. Maybe I just need to go for an eye test. It's probably due. I'm trying to think when I would have last had one. Quite a while ago, and I needed new glasses then, and I didn't get them because we were buying a house, and I was like, I don't have these kind of finances. I don't have this. Yeah. Just bought Pride of the Orange Sheet in paperback, and I'm really hoping the font isn't miniature. Yeah. I don't know. I haven't... Is my copy up here? Because the paperback binding isn't actually that much different from the hardback. If I remember correctly, it's losing in height a bit, but a lot of that went into the margins. I think you should be able to see it when you're looking online. It should be like, this is the font size. I was chatting to our designer, one of our designers at work, because we were designing... it doesn't matter, some stuff for work. And he was talking about we had to make some fonts smaller, and I was like, we have a lot of elderly people. Is this going to be okay? And he was saying there are actually guidelines about how small your font can go before it's like, most people will need glasses to read this. So yeah, I'd be interested to know what font size it is. Why font in tiny... Why font... I can read, I promise. Why tiny font in hardbacks? Not as cool as this is why I buy hardbacks. So true! Make it bigger. We're paying good money for this hardback book. Give me the large font. I'm trying to think what... Private Crownshire is about what I want for a hardback book. And line spacing. Why did I hold it up? I know you can't see it. Line spacing. I need it not to be all crammed in together so that you need like a ruler to read it. Just feels inaccessible to me. That's the other thing. But as I say, I'd say, I haven't actually looked at it, but I think the bulk of what I've read this year that hasn't been rereads has been digital. So I've been able to, I'm doing like a pinch to zoom, make the font super huge. That's what I've been living for. I do actually have the A Restless Truth in ebook as well, so I might switch to that if I'm finding it too difficult. How many pages is this? Nearly 400. 385. Very doable. I think I'm going to try and get to 150 pages. Let's say 100. That feels reasonable in this next chunk, and then keep going. Font and hardback for Priory is bigger, just checked. So both new book coming out next year. Are you a collector of multiple versions? I'm going ghost-like again. I've had to stop myself from doing that. I think the only thing I have it still where I have a hardback and a paperback was State of Sorrow. Yeah, that's the first one by Melinda Salisbury, because I had the hardback, but I had the paperback and it was signed. I think that's the only one. Ash is back. Had to go and do a parent. Oh, I know what you mean, but a little complex. I have to keep an eye on the stitches. Yeah, I did DNF both. I DNF'd the history and the sci-fi. The history because it's the Napoleonic War and Napoleon gains a kraken, and I couldn't cope. I had to say no. I had to say goodbye and stop. Not Jeremy, my hubby bought it because the new book is so pretty and he wanted me to have both in hardback. Oh, that's really sweet. Oh, so you already had the paperback? Yeah. Oh, that's very nice. I have ordered, because I'm a person who loves myself, I've ordered the Goldsboro edition of the new one because it came out in, very ghost-like, very ghost. It came out in, everything's fine. Nothing's on fire. They sent it around as like, you bought the previous one, do you want to buy this one? And I was like, yes. Yes, I do. But what I'm not going to do is also pre-order it in normal hardback as well. I don't need both. Everything's fine. I'm not going to end up with 4 copies of, it was a nightmare. And I had a review copy. It was madness. Teeny tiny font and paperback is ridiculous, right? Kayla might need to read the Napoleon. True, maybe I'll send it to her. Like, here you go. Enjoy. It has a kraken in it. But yeah, that is my one special edition I bought this year, I think. Well, I know it's out next year, but we've been having a lot of conversation about special editions lately in various group chats, and I have strong feelings, but they don't matter. It's that kind of like, buy what you want, but I am gonna have opinions on it. But perhaps not here because I feel like it's too salty. It needs to go on the group chat. Oh. But it's interesting. I like thinking about like what makes me go for a special edition. Is it like the exclusivity? Is it that it's a particular nice edition? Is it bonus material? And at what point is it all gonna like switch around again? We've had this conversation before, but I feel like sprayed edges are nearly done because everything just already has them. Like they're just doing them willy-nilly. But at what point is like foil gonna stop feeling fancy and all that stuff? And what's like the next thing? We've talked about it before. In fact, we've talked about it in live streams before. I just like thinking about it. In the cycle of books, because I feel like 4 years ago when I started hello dog, when I started doing bookish stuff on the internet, like a special edition meant maybe an alternate cover on the dust jacket, maybe, and more often than not you were just getting like a normal hardback in like book boxes and such. Hi, hello. She's telling me you've got to sprint again and also go get some lunch so that I can have some lunch. That's what she's saying to me now. So we're gonna sprint for half an hour. I'm gonna read Restless Truth and also go grab some lunch. So I will not be on screen, but I will be cheering you on from downstairs. All right, little dog. Yes, we're gonna go get lunch. Right, I shall see you all. Excuse you. I shall see you all in half an hour. Please let me switch to this without screaming at me, please. Thank you. Lunch. And let's go. Hi everyone. We're back, we're back. I have eaten some lunch. It was very pleasant. And now I'm drinking orange squash because I am an adult. Hoping this isn't the last sprint. Currently reading the Poison Study. I want to try and finish by the end of today. It's not the last sprint. I don't know how long I'm going to go on for because I am a little bit wiped, but we'll do a couple more. I'm reading Restless Truth at the moment. I've sorted my blinds a little bit. I think they've slightly broken, but they needed replacing anyway. So that's a September project, I think, after payday perhaps. I'm 48 pages in, just at the end of chapter 5, and it's very good so far. We're setting up the murder. We haven't yet set up the suspects. It's going to be a good time, I think. Do something sensible, head. Come on. Hi again. Hi again. I'm trying to decide if I want to keep going with this until I get to about 100 pages, or to go with my original plan, which was to switch book every sprint, which would mean I was going on to Notorious Sorcerer, which is on my NetGalley shelf. Which I think I might do. Let's stick to the original plan and keep switching books, given that I've DNF'd 2 things, so we'll be back around to the main list soon. Got about 100 more pages into Wolfsong, and I'm mostly doing a face. Intriguing. 27 pages. Got an extra nap halfway through, but didn't. I mean, I'm all here for a nap. That's probably what I'm going to do when we do finish, I'll be honest. I'm just marking this up as currently reading, because if I don't, I forget, and then I have books that are half read that I never get around to finishing because I don't have the prompt of looking on Storygraph. Yeah, it's so far Restless Truth. I'm just enjoying it. I feel like I probably should have done a reread of A Marvelous Light because I honestly can't remember most of what happened, but it's giving me enough of a recap that I get what the important bits are for this book. I just can't remember who's related to who, and that's usually quite important in this kind of book. But you know what? We're living our best life. Reading all the things, it's going to be fine. 20 pages of Dark Rise, that was my last sprint. I need to go get ready for a picnic with my friends. Oh, that's so nice. Love a picnic. Have not been on one in quite some time, but very enjoyable. Sunday naps are just the best. Yes. I'm not much of a nap person, just I like physically cannot do it. But I do like a lie down. That's my equivalent. Switching to the dishes, which I've been doing in the chatty bits. Nice. That's very sensible. I've had to start, like, our house is just an absolute mess because we've both been so busy. I've had to start doing, like, right, if I wanted to, I'm trying to think of, like, good examples of rewards that aren't just food-based, because I feel like that perpetuates this idea that you have to, like, earn a particular kind of food. But the best example I have is I really wanted to order food on Friday night, and I was like, right, I'm going to clean the kitchen, and that's, like, the time I would have spent cooking the food is going to be cleaning the kitchen. And so I did that. Like, I'm in full, like, the only way my brain will do anything is if it's as a reward. No, if it leads to a reward. Which is not ideal, but we're getting there. My office is not the worst right now. Like, this pile here is all just sewing projects that need finishing. And everything else is, like, reasonably okay. It's not ideal. I did... if you go back and look at some of the previous streams, I've taken all of the books down from, just to work out which direction I need to move my finger in, down from the top of here, and taking them all downstairs, because I realised that what I kept doing was bringing books upstairs for videos, because I was, like, filming overbooked and, like, needing examples to show, and then I never took them back downstairs, so these shelves were just getting more and more packed in with stuff, and I was feeling really hemmed in by books, so I've now got a mess downstairs to deal with instead, which is, it is what it is. Had to adult and do some laundry, and I read about 15 pages. If anyone happens to look at, I will write it. I love that. Got a nasty cold too. Oh, I'm sorry. Colds are no fun. No fun for anyone. But yeah, I lost my train of thought. I was talking about how messy our house is. Yeah, it's just nightmarish. Terrible. Needs a good going over. But I'm away most of this week. Not away, but, like, working, and then I've got stuff on, and then out, and Katie's home, and Katie's not going to do the cleaning because she's got stuff on. It's just a bit of a mess. Adulthood is hard. Read about 30 more pages, and I'm now having a lie down with a packet of hula hoops. That sounds fantastic. I haven't had hula hoops in many years, but now I want them. If you mention food to me on a stream, odds are I'm gonna be like, I should buy those next time we're in the shop. Because the nice thing about like being slightly more free to leave the house at the moment is that we can do our weekly shop together, which we haven't done across like the whole of the pandemic. It's just been my wife going. I've started to be able to go again, which means I can do things like go, I want that specific food, I'm gonna have it. Although at the moment, I think because I've very recently gone vegetarian, my brain just like craves all of the meat. So whenever I'm in the shop, I'm like, ooh, I could buy this packet of meats. And then I'm like, oh no, I can't, never mind. I'm just in that stage where I have to get through the bit where you're saying no to something, which I'm not very good at. I'm working on it. It's a work in progress as a life change. I should get my next book downloading. That's what I should do. So yeah, I don't actually know anything about Notorious Sorcerer other than that I requested it off an email from a publisher. So I should probably look up what it is about as well. Oh, it's already there. No, we don't need to search Kindle. It's right there. All right, let's see. It is by Davinia Evans. Good. Tasha Suri says, it is vibrant, explosive, deliciously dangerous, and impossibly fun. I'm always here for that. A dazzling fantasy debut bursting with wild magic, chaotic sword fighting, street gangs, brazen flirting, malevolent harpies, and one defiant alchemist. All right, I'm excited. I'll enjoy that. Let's see how many pages it is, because that's the other thing I like to know before I start. Notorious Sorcerer. Those are two words that I'm not very good at spelling. My spelling's really gone downhill recently, I think, because I've not been doing enough like actual writing. I just sort of slam the keyboard in the vague shape of the letters I want and hope for the best. 451. I'll read that. That's fine. It sounds like fun. By Disaster Wizard. Always here for it. Let's see. We'll see. I think we're starting with something vaguely spicy, so intrigued. Am I capable of saying a sentence without just repeating the last few words? No, I'm not. But yeah, it's got loads of really good blurbs. We'll see. I'm going to say it once. I just said that twice. That's really embarrassing. Oh dear. I feel like there's something about streaming and having to do this all without any editing that I really become aware of all of my like what I fall back on in my speech. I should probably work on that at some point. Thank you for all of your laugh reacts to my failure to talk like a normal human being. It's just filler words, isn't it? It's like and I'm just adding them at the end rather than in the middle, or as well as in the middle. That's what I'm doing. What I am very excited for is that I am getting my NetGalley TBR way down, and that's very satisfying to me. I think I have 5 more things left to read, and one of those is Restless Truth, so it's really only 4 because I've got that physically, so killing it. But yes, I'm on ARCs today, so everything from now on is not out yet. So Restless Truth is out 10th of November, this is out 15th September. Genesis of Misery is another one I want to start, and that's 27th of September. Basically, I've just pulled out everything that's out in September, and also Restless Truth, because I didn't want to wait. I'm trying to get all of that down. Marlene! NetGalley TBR is only 2 books? That's amazing. That's genuinely amazing to me. I think for Asher, though, Asher is confessing her 66 book NetGalley TBR. I think that's because you read so many genres and age ranges and such, whereas I only ever open the NetGalley sci-fi fantasy page. That's the only one I ever look at. If I read multiple genres and if I reviewed in multiple genres, I think I'd just have ridiculous TBR. As it is, I'm like nearly at the 500 books read on NetGalley mark, which is very exciting. And I think when that's done, I'm going to have to celebrate it in some way, shape, or form, just for me. Try to request so they only have one a month. That's very sensible, but then what do you do if there's like 2 books coming out that you really want to read? In September, like September has loads, August had quite a lot, although admittedly I got denied for most of them because it was things like Babel, and I was like, they're not going to send me a copy of Babel, it's fine. Plans for September to catch up on all my arcs, have a couple still from 2019, 2020. Yeah, I feel like there's a sweet spot. There's like the phases of arc having where you get it really, really early on, and you either read it right then and there, and then it gets like muddly around the reviewing time. You read it really close to the publication date, that's what I'm looking for. And that's like my sweet spot. If I can read it within like a month of it coming out, that's perfect for me, because then it's fresh in my brain and I'll remember to post a review and it'll be great. And then if I leave them then I have maybe a month after the pub date where I'm like, right, I really need to get to that now, that's out, let's get to it. And then anything after a month, I might never read it. I might not get to it for ages, and I've been trying to use August as a way to like get through that. So I read Ballad of Perilous Graves, which had been sat around for ages. I've just had my 2 DNFs of those books, which have been around for forever. Yeah. Sit on my hands and don't request because I can. That's very sensible. I'm very, very, what's the word? Self-controlled. I do not have this. I've got a little bit better at what I do is I look at my schedule and what can move before I request around about the pub date, but that's not always working out. Sometimes I just throw things in and I don't have enough time. I wish I had an option to return X number of books a month or year because I requested some and lost interest in them. I do think the addition of being able to cancel a request has been remarkable. So I have 2 requests that are just sat around. I have The Keeper's 6 by Kate Elliott, which is out in January, and I have Ocean's Echo by Everina Maxwell, which is out in November. And if it gets towards the end of October, I'll probably just cancel that request because I don't want it afterwards, so I can still slot it in that sweet spot. A lot of my older stuff that I read, enjoyed, thought I'll write the review when I have more brain, then totally forgot everything about the whole book, and now it's been years. Oh dear. That's less than ideal. I try and review it just after I've read it. I'm looking at my list now. I have 2 reviews that I need to write. But both of them, well, one of them I need to read again. I want to read Into the Riverlands again because I don't think I was in the right headspace when I read it the first time because we were on holiday and like I was very distracted. And then Unraveler, which I finished yesterday, so it's not too bad. But I tend to write them all in one fell swoop. Like I'll wait till the day I have energy and then I'll write them all. Got a copy of The Sunbearer Trials by Aidan Thomas this month and was screaming with joy. Yes, definitely started it. Right, I had that with it wasn't a review copy, but it was In the Serpent's Wake by Rachel Hartman. I was so excited to finally have my copy of it, and then didn't read it for 6 months. Just didn't happen. I've read it now, but it's weird. I think review copies, I don't know if I've had one that I've been like ridiculously excited for in quite some time. I was very, very hyped for A Restless Truth, but not in the sense of like, oh my goodness, I can't believe I got to read this early. Like I haven't had that for a while. We should sprint again. You should also please let me know how Sunbearer Trials is, because I'm trying to decide if I want to read it or if it's going to be too YA, and I'll do it a disservice. Last one before we sprint. I thought I'd get into NetGalley, but after reading and reviewing one book, I forgot about the whole thing. For me, it's not really worth it. It is, I think it's one of those things that, like, I love it, and looking at it, like, I've had 487 books sent that, like, I wouldn't have necessarily got to read otherwise, which is really, really amazing, and I'm very privileged. But it was a lot of work at the beginning, like, getting the numbers up and getting to a point where I know who's going to accept me and what's a bit of a punt. But yeah, we should sprint. Ash is going to be painting. ADHD brain sees the shiny, grabs the shiny, and goes, no, when I have to read the shiny. What if the shiny disappoints is a terrifying prospect as well. Video with timer, that's the scene I want. And you don't have to worry about forgetting to come back on time. I'll just phone you. Live on stream. I'll call, I'm not actually going to do this, by the way. Shall we sprint, everyone? Don't like to write reviews all that much. Very valid. Let's go, because I want to see how this disaster wizard goes. Let's begin. Hello. And there we go. Hi. How was that for everyone? I'm flagging a little bit, if I'm being perfectly honest. I think I've got one more sprint in me, and then I need to go and have a lie down. Because it's been a busy weekend, and I think I need it and deserve it. So I'm going to not pick up Genesis of Misery or One Dark Window today, because I can feel that that's not the most sensible plan, and I won't finish them all. And that would be bad. So I'm going to, I think, in this next sprint, keep going with Notorious Sorcerer and try and get maybe to like halfway through. Is that over optimistic? Potentially. I got to 24% of the way through in that sprint. So technically doable if I read a little bit faster. That'd be good to get halfway through. I'm gonna try and do that. Get as close to it as I can. Marlene's coming to the end of the book, bringing down to 6 current reads. Much applause, much applause. I've been increasing my number of current reads in this stream, but it is what it is. Notorious Sorcerer, so far, like it. Enjoying it, not sure about where it's going yet, and possibly need to give it a little bit more time. It's one of those things where I think until I've figured out what the plot's going to be, I'm not going to love it, so yeah, we'll see. I think I'm trying to think like what the best way to sum this up is without spoiling things that have already happened, because I don't know how much import various things have. There's a lot of like class stuff going on, magic being illegal, but alchemy being semi-legal. We'll see. I don't know. I hope it picks up the pace. That's why I want. It's a little bit slow paced at the moment. So yeah, I'll give it another half hour worth of reading now, and we'll see where we get to. I was just looking at my like stats for August to see whether I'd read enough pages, and it's saying I read 600 pages today. I haven't. It's because I had to mark a bunch of stuff as read that I couldn't remember when I finished it. I'm not doing too badly for this mood reading month that I'm in. I've read a number of things, most of them audiobook, and it's been very pleasing to me. And it's kind of like got me hoping that when I do indeed finish all of my kind of like immediate TBR, I think it's going to be a really fun time. I say that, but I finished my TBR. When did I do it? In like 2020? In like October? And then it just built up again so quickly that it kind of didn't matter. So I don't know, maybe I'm being overly optimistic and it won't actually happen that way. But yeah, I need to have like a think about, a look back on why it built up again, and how, and was it just like Christmas happened and then my birthday happens and that always makes a chunk of books added that I then didn't finish? Was it because I was rereading way more at that point? Possibly. But that's not really likely to change because I'm still making overbooked. I don't know. Interesting. Distracted by talks of mess and tidying, so end up dusting the living room. That is very smart though. And now you've done that, like ticked off the list. All done. 25 more pages kept pausing to share melodramatic passages. That's nice. I like it. See, this is why I need to stop after this next stream. My brain's just stopped working. It's like I can feel the gears churning inside my head when I start to try and talk. But yeah, I have a few things lined up. September, I'm starting Brandon Sanderson stuff, because I want to read those fresh, and I'm starting that in September. So that's like rereading and reading new things. I've got quite a lot of rereading in September. Like it's tricky, isn't it? Because as much as I'd really like to be like, right, this has been a sign, I need to clear out my plan and start again and make it a realistic plan where I get to mood read more. But if I put mood reading in, I don't do it. And I need like this amount of time. Like I didn't read anything for like a week and then picked it up, you know. Physical TBR has climbed since the new job. Bringing books home from work happens quite a bit. Yeah. Oh, I can imagine. Especially working where you work, where the books are the books you want to read. Like I've worked in publishing. I worked in publishing for like 2 or 3 years, and it wasn't books that I was particularly interested in reading, so it was okay. But it is tempting. The worst is conferences, I find, because I was working non-fiction publishing, and they'd just be like, here, take this copy of our book, it's free. And I was in my early 20s, and I was in a mode where I was like, free stuff? Great, give it to me. And now I'm I'm like, do I want that though? Do I need to own that book by an archbishop? No, probably not. Dear. I think possibly it warrants more thought, just in the what happens if you do get to the end of your TBR. Is that a realistic goal? Is there I don't know. I'm trying to like articulate it, because I do read faster than books come in at the moment, but if I start veering off that at any point, it just all kind of goes terribly wrong. Set my soap audiobook and crochet project. Try reading physical Lock of the Dead by Oscar de Muriel. Not heard of that one. Need to try reading more during the day while I have the time. Valid. Tend to find everything in the thriller corner. Don't publish that much sci-fi. Nice. I don't apologise. As I said in the previous one, my typing is just out the window at the moment. Autocorrect is my saviour in all things. Although I was trying to type insect and it typed a different word that involved a lot of the same letters, and that was very, very awkward because it didn't autocorrect it, and it was bad. So keep an eye out for that. I think especially now that I'm getting towards the end of the year, and like I have stuff planned in up until the first week where I don't have anything planned is week beginning the 17th of April 2023. And like while there's only a couple of bits and bobs in the weeks before that, it is definitely there. Oh, please don't delete a spreadsheet by accident. And I know that I don't want to overwhelm myself, and I want to leave space for new things. But also I know that if I don't schedule things in, I just don't get to them. So I've started when a book comes in. So I'm just fiddling with scraps of fabric. When a book comes into my life, when it arrives, I add it to my TBR and I add it to my schedule, so that like at least there is like a hope that I will read it one day, you know, and I, in theory, in April of 2023, I will get to it, you know. I'll never get to the end of my TBR. I read far too slowly for how many books I bring in. Yeah, and I think Amber said it really well. I'm like so out of the habit of watching Amber's videos, which is terrible, but she was starting a project of like tracking if she's reading the books she's reading when she buys them, based on the fact that she was realising that there was stuff on her shelves from ages ago that she just wasn't interested in anymore, and that's just wasting time, money, it's sad, shelf space. And I definitely find that being mindful about how long something's going to sit, being mindful about how long something's going to sit on my shelf is really important to me. So trying not to buy things that I'm not certain of, and I think that's why I'm so like keen to not buy stuff until it's been recommended by like 4 or 5 people. And to be honest, if I can read it online, I'll probably read it online. Legally, I'm paying for it, but I will read it online. But that might change, you know, we change as people. I might suddenly develop a spending habit for books. At the moment, most of my money goes on fabric, to be honest. That's where my spending goes. Fabric and stuff for projects that I am finishing, to be fair. I have hopefully broken the habit of buying craft supplies for a craft I no longer do, or that I don't actually intend to pick up. So yeah, I have projects, but they tend to end. Like I just need to film the reveal for one of my video projects recently, and then that's done, and that's been sat around since like my birthday, I think, which was back in February. So this is what happens when I'm a bit tired. I get very like existential about my TBR in a way that just doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it's books that you own. Like, so if I have 30 books on my TBR until the end of time, then that's it. I'll die with 30 books unread. It's not actually going to change my life. Like, I don't think there is a book currently on my TBR that is going to change who I am as a being fundamentally. And so I'm in no hurry. None of them are on a deadline. Except the ones that are technically on a deadline because they're review copies. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I need like a banner along the bottom of this for like Judith existential waffle alert, so that we don't completely lose ourselves in the waffle. I will say I love my spreadsheet for organisation. That's what I need to start doing, to be honest. That's so true. I need to use the yarn I have a stash for new craft projects so I don't buy more in. Yes, and the other thing that I've started doing, I say is, like, if you buy, like, we all hoard craft supplies. It's sort of a known thing. But I find I've started trying to not buy stuff without a project in mind and without a known idea of when I'm going to get to it. I have already broken that because I have, like, a whole bunch of fabric that I bought recently that I need to use along with all of the stuff that I still have. But I think what I'm going to do for a future, it might not even be a video, it might just be something I do in my life, is pull all my stuff out and go, what are these things for? What am I going to turn this? I have like a French navy, which is my favourite colour at the moment. I'm just obsessed with it. But I have a canvas and I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet. And so I want to like pull it out and look at it and be like, right, what does this want to be? And when am I going to get to it? And when am I going to do that? And planning it all in, because I've realised that I'm a person who needs a plan. Like, I appreciate that it is nice to take a break and not constantly be on like a wheel of must be doing something. But I find it really helpful for myself because I get such decision fatigue to just be like, now you're going to pick up this book. Like, Notorious Sorcerer is the next book to come out, so you're going to pick this up. Canvas dungarees, these would be very cute. I do own quite a lot of pairs of dungarees. I think what I might do is make a version of my red corset lace dress, because that's canvas and it's really, really comfy. But that did take like 3 or 4 weeks to finish. So I'll have a look. I also need to like check what quantities I have of stuff. But it is very beautiful. It's very beautiful. Starting getting strict with my book buying. I have so many books with TBR that I'll only buy books that sound different to me and I need to buy other things. Yeah, I think that's a good way of looking at it as well. Decision fatigue is why I don't mood read. Well, it has been a real, like, interesting month giving into that. I appreciate we've got 4 minutes before we're going to sprint the last time. Because on the one hand, I've really enjoyed being able to dip into stuff. Like, I read the first Bridgerton book on a complete whim because I was watching the TV series and I was like, I wonder what the book is like. Let's go for it. Which I wouldn't normally have done. But at the same time, what I found is that more often than not, I am either going, what's the next book in the series that I'm currently working on? So just powering through the audiobooks for Temeraire, or what are the review copies that are coming up? Because I have a schedule for that and that makes sense to me and that builds up. Whereas I don't think I actually have properly mood read, what does that even mean? Because I haven't just sort of sat and stared at books and been like, what do I feel like? It's been, well, what's next? I feel like reading. And I think for me, it's more about like the act of reading and if I feel in the mood to read rather than what I'm in the mood to read. So for me, this month has been mood reading in the sense that I've only read what I've been in the mood to, not that I've only read the things I've been in the mood to read. Whereas normally, oh, this is such a waffly sentence, but normally in some ways I'm forced to read because my schedule is so packed that I don't have a choice. Yeah. Had to buy Kings of the Wild as hubby recommended it, so had to buy it. It is also very good. I like the sequel more, but I do recommend them. They're very good. I would like the third one though, please. Nicholas Eames, you're clearly watching this live stream. Please, Nicholas, give us the third one. Oh, anyway, so that was my existential. I think I might do like a chatty video on my experience of taking a month off. I've definitely got like a what I've been up to on hiatus video planned, but I think maybe for the people who want existential waffle, I might do it as a separate one, and the other one could be more of like a here's all the stuff I got done. You're welcome. Just it has been really good. I don't know that I don't think I would call myself a mood reader as a result of this process, you know? There we go. Right, we're gonna do our last half hour. We're gonna do 30 more minutes of sprinting and then I shall say goodbye because I'm gonna have a lie down and that'll be lovely. I hope that everyone has a very productive half an hour of whatever variety they want, whether that's productive rest or productive anything else. And I'm gonna continue on with Notorious Sorcerer, which has these fun designs in it. So I imagine if you're planning on reading the physical book, those are even more fun in the physical book because they sort of just mess up the formatting of the arc. I said formatting, really weird then. Formatting. Can I get to halfway through? Let's see. To do that, we need to start a timer though. There we are. Reset that. Let's go. See you guys at 1:45. Hello, welcome back, welcome back. How was that for everyone? I managed to get to halfway through Notorious Sorcerer, 51%. If we're being specific about it, it's pretty good. I'm not entirely sure where it's going, and I think possibly that is a lack of focus on my part. But we'll see. I like the characters. I like, the tone. I just don't 100% know what it's going to be yet. And I feel like I probably should know by 50%. But again, that's probably a me problem more than a problem with the book. So yeah, we'll hopefully finish that this week. That can be my arc that I'm working on this week, which would be good. And yeah, Marlene's got 12 pages left. Yes, I believe in you. You can do it. That's like easy peasy. You'll be fine. I'm feeling very pleased with how this has gone generally. I think what we've done, like 3.5 hours, 3.5. Oh no, nearly about 4 hours total. But that's not too shabby for finishing books and such. Yeah. So yeah, Notorious Sorcerer so far includes a sorcerer, and he's trying to figure out a ritual, and that's sort of the main gist of what's going on so far. And magicians alchemists under fire from people. I feel like I should be able to explain more about what happens already, but I am not. Read another 30 pages or so, almost halfway through, really loving it. Nice. Last third. Oh, see people having a great time. 58% of the book, excellent. 3 chapters, fabulous. I feel like we've had a good, productive period of time. I was going to say morning, but it's like cross morning to afternoon for here, and it'll be all sorts for people in various different time zones, but it's been good. So yeah, I have, what did I say, 10 days or so left of my hiatus, which I've got a couple more bits that like really need to get done that were meant to get done before the hiatus started and didn't. Whoops. And I think what I'm going to do with my afternoon is what I said I was going to do in the last chatty bit, and sit with some of my fabric and figure out what projects I'm going to do and when, because that's what's inspiring me and at the moment, and I'm trying to follow what my brain wants to do, not just what I think I ought to do at the moment. So that's what I'm going to be up to. I hope that everyone else has a lovely rest of their Sunday or whatever day it happens to be where you are. And yeah, I'm going to head on off. Have a wonderful rest of. I've already said have a wonderful Sunday. I don't know how to end streams. You know me. Thank you so much for joining me. It's been truly lovely. And I shall see you in the next one.